This is the Black Information Network Daily Podcast, and I am your host, Ramses Ja. And sometimes the amount of stories that make their way to us means that we simply can't cover everything that comes our way. But from time to time, a story just stays with me, and I feel compelled to share it with you and give you my thoughts. And now, one more thing.
I got one more thing I'd like to talk to you about right now.
Fox News and Dominion reach $787.5 million settlement just before a defamation trial was set to begin. A friend of mine shot me over a copy of the post by the Delaware Online, and that was the headline. And I'll be honest, that was kind of a gut punch for me. But then I got to thinking about it, and maybe it's not so bad. But first, before we explain why I thought it was a gut punch and then why it might not be so bad, for those that aren't familiar, let me tell you a little bit of a story of what's going on here. So originally, Dominion Voting Systems sued Fox News. We have seen Fox News over the years evolve, or rather devolve, into what many people consider to be a right-wing propaganda arm of the Republican Party, often serving the most far-right leaning of individuals in this country, certainly providing them a narrative, not necessarily a truth, because those two things are different, but a narrative that they can use to justify their fears. And indeed, Fox stokes those fears, but also to justify their bigotry, their hatred, so forth and so on. And more recently, in the past couple of years, this lawsuit came about as a result of Fox News echoing Donald Trump's lie about how the election was stolen from him. Fox News felt like running with this narrative when they knew it was patently false and no one could substantiate a shred of truth. Gave Dominion cause to sue for the $1.6 billion. In fact, I believe the legal charge from Dominion was that Fox knowingly broadcast lies in order to keep their viewers happy. And this starts this whole road, the journey down this road that we're on now. There's a lot of folks that had a lot to say about Donald Trump losing the election. Folks who worked at Fox, everyone from Rupert Murdoch, the guy in charge, all the way down to the hosts on the air and the producers and so forth, those folks behind the scenes. Tucker Carlson is famously quoted saying that he was, let me not quote him, but the long and the short of it was that he was very happy to have this Donald Trump era behind him, and that he did not think highly of Donald Trump. You wouldn't know that watching all the bootlicking that you see on his show, but behind the scenes, he's expressed how he feels about Donald Trump. And yet, when it came time to make a firm decision in terms of, are we going to broadcast Donald Trump's accusations that the presidency was stolen from him, the election was stolen from him, and are we going to do so without proof? These folks decided that that's what they wanted to do. Now, you wouldn't hear this on their channel, but the rest of us know that this is happening because every other media outlet is reporting it. these folks really did not want to lose their viewership because they had pandered to that viewership base so directly and had dug themselves so deeply into the hole that they couldn't afford to upset the viewers. So echoing this lie is what they chose to do. And it was a result of missteps all along the line, in my estimation. Now, I really, really wanted this to go to trial. A lot of people really wanted this to go to trial. Because at a trial, all the evidence comes out. And everyone has their, arguments and their defenses and so forth. And everyone gets to see what the what is. And this is kind of what I was hoping for here. And again, a lot of people were hoping for that because Fox News was finally going to be held accountable for taking a good chunk of this country and a huge chunk of folks that view cable news and misleading them and scaring them into voting and in ways that are inconsistent with outcomes that they're hoping for, all because of money. You hear these conversations from time to time and you're like, oh yeah, it's all about money. Sure. Well, this is textbook and it's crystal clear. They wanted money, not truth. They wanted money, not journalistic integrity. They wanted money, not a thorough investigation. And they sold their viewers out. And the rest of the voting public has to pay for that. The folks that stormed the Capitol on January 6th have to pay for that. The people that have been radicalized and are continuing to be radicalized into becoming far-right, ultra-conservative, bigoted individuals in this country who are hateful of Mexican people and Black people and any kind of people who aren't like them. This is what Fox News creates, and they were finally going to be held accountable for it. And we were all cheering for Dominion because Fox shouldn't just be able to lie the way that they've done it, but no one could really prove a fiscal or a number like fiscal damages. There's damages to our democracies, damages to our political framework and political system, and erodes the trust in our society and our government. But who can point to a dollar sign there? And who's responsible for taking on a company like this? Well, Dominion finally had that. They had the ball and they were supposed to run with it. And they didn't. They settled. So what a gut punch, right? Well, maybe not. Maybe not. And here's what I started thinking. Maybe this is a good thing. Because, as we've seen, when Donald Trump tried to sue to overturn the elections, all of his cases were thrown out. There was no wrongdoing found that could have changed any outcomes. And the wrongdoing that was found was often just mistakes, not mass voter fraud or irregularities or anything like that. And yet and still, a huge number of people in this country believe that it's all a left-wing conspiracy. All the judges from all the states and all the districts and all the courts somehow all got the same memo and decided that they were all going to turn their back on Donald Trump. They believe that. So why wouldn't they believe a judgment against Fox News had this gone to trial? Why wouldn't they believe that Fox News wouldn't have gotten a fair trial? After all, it's their trusted news source, right? But if Fox News settles, and indeed they settle for $787.5 billion, which is, we'll call it approximately half of the $1.6 billion that Fox was originally being sued for. If they're settling, and for that much, that does suggest that there might have been some wrongdoing. This is Fox being held accountable for their actions. What else does it do? It opens up the possibility for other people to sue Fox News for lying to the public for so long under the guise of being a news corporation. It's more like an entertainment corporation. And indeed, it is an entertainment corporation. But here's some accountability. Now, of course, Fox settling this denied all wrongdoing because, again, they have to keep existing, right? And, you know, who knows what comes next here. I highly doubt that they will report on this to their viewers, right? But this is not nothing. And for those of us who are really hoping to see this go to trial, hopefully this gives you one more way of thinking about this outcome now that it's here. So now I open the floor up to you. Use the red microphone talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app, or reach out to me on social media at Ramses Ja. What are your thoughts? Is this as good as it could have been? Or not? Or better? Who knows? But I'd love to hear your thoughts. And until I do, peace. This has been a production of the Black Information Network. Today's show is produced by Chris Thompson. Have some thoughts you'd like to share? Use the red microphone talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. While you're there, be sure to hit subscribe and download all of our episodes. I am your host, Ramses Ja, on all social media. Join us tomorrow as we share our news with our voice, from our perspective, right here on the Black Information Network Daily Podcast.